The iPhone 17 Pro Max versus the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Here's the biggest expected upgrades. Is it time to get a new iPhone? The iPhone 15 Pro Max, which came out 2 years ago, is still one of my greatest iPhones since it came with a huge screen, great cameras, and works with Apple Intelligence features. You can definitely get a lot more use out of your present model if you add a long-lasting battery and continuing software support. The awe-dropping event for Apple's iPhone 17 just ended, and it is 2 days after it was released. The best news is definitely the new iPhone 17 Pro Max. The 17 Pro Max has a new look and new colors, but the most essential changes are longer battery life, faster charging, a new processor, and a few other exciting things. Will that be enough to get iPhone 15 Pro Max users to upgrade? Well, let us find out. 1. Size and design. The huge new camera island on the back of the iPhone 17 Pro Max is the most obvious difference. At the same time, the triangle-shaped triple camera system remains the same, therefore there is some design carryover too. What's a huge paradigm shift, though, is the return to aluminum for the iPhone 17 Pro Max's frame. Sure, titanium is premium, but there's nothing intrinsically wrong with aluminum either, and it is just as light and virtually as durable too. It's really strange that Apple has changed direction on this so rapidly after boasting that titanium was such a special and creative material just a few years ago. Size-wise, the iPhone 17 Pro Max is just a little bigger than the 15 Pro Max. The most apparent modification is a minor increase in thickness. At 8.75 millimeters, it's a hair thicker than the 8.25 millimeters 15 Pro Max. It's also roughly 5% heavier too, at 233 grams versus the 221 grams on the 15 Pro Max. We only hope the larger camera island doesn't make the phone excessively top-heavy, which has undoubtedly been the case with several high-end Android phones recently. Other than that, the iPhone 17 Pro Max is basically comparable to the iPhone 15 Pro Max, same flat design language with a dynamic island notch up front, a camera control, and a customizable action button. Meanwhile, the iPhone 15 Pro Max is mainly the template that shaped its successors in more ways than one. It was the first titanium iPhone, the first to adopt a USB-C port at the bottom, and also the first iPhone to shed the famous mute switch for a programmable action button. In terms of colors, the 17 Pro Max brings color back. A new copper-like cosmic orange tint looks really spiffy, and we also get a deep blue variant. Certainly a pleasant change over the pretty dull options that the iPhone 15 Pro Max was offered in black titanium, white titanium, blue titanium, and natural titanium colors. However, it's a bit sad to see only 3 color options this year, as there is no real black version on the 17 Pro Max. 2. Display differences. The iPhone 17 Pro Max includes a 6.9-inch liquid Retina XDR display with ProMotion that enables a smooth 120 Hz refresh rate, basically same size as the 16 Pro Max. The 15 Pro Max includes a little smaller 6.7-inch screen, but the same ProMotion. Moreover, Apple is supposedly procuring Samsung's M14 OLED panel for the 17 Pro Max, which enhances the efficiency of the panel and its peak brightness. This is a good update that increases outdoor legibility. We are also quite curious about a new 7-layer anti-reflective coating on the screen that should increase visibility both indoors and outdoors. The new ceramic shield 2 on the front of the 17 Pro Max is a pleasant upgrade, giving up to 3x improved scratch resistance, according to Apple. 3. Performance and software. It undoubtedly will come as no surprise that the iPhone 17 Pro Max is powered by the next mobile Apple chipset in line, the Apple A19 Pro. We presume that this is once again constructed on TSMC 3nm production node. Still, be it a 3nm or a 2nm processor, the A19 Pro is clearly an advance over the A17 Pro that clicks and ticks within the iPhone 15 Pro Max. The latter was the first 3nm chipset utilized on an iPhone, and actually the first 3nm processor on a mobile device. While we have increases in performance and efficiency, they are not that grand. That's largely because the iPhone 15 Pro Max is still a very capable and able handset. The iPhone 17 Pro Max purportedly contains 12 gigs of RAM for future-proofness sake, whereas the iPhone 15 Pro Max sports 8 gigs of RAM. Both phones support Apple Intelligence equally, but if only there was more of it though. The software of choice on both the iPhone 17 Pro Max and 15 Pro Max is iOS 26. It contains a complete outfit change called Liquid Glass, which is patterned after Vision OS aesthetics and mimics, well, glass in a digital form. For the genuinely adventurous, there's a new clear look option that makes everything translucent, with a design language that harks back to Windows Vista. Yep, this reference just disclosed that the author of this post now has plenty of gray hair. The most thrilling breakthroughs, however, are the ones that promise peace. A call screening tool will finally be used to counter telemarketers. Pixel users are giggling somewhere in the background, having had this feature for years. Naturally, there's a raft of other nuggets. Polls are coming to group chats, threatening to impose genuine order on the lovely chaos of a dozen people attempting to agree on a pub. All in all, it's a list of totally fair modifications, to be honest. Thankfully, many upgrades simplified the experience, excellent for the rest of us. The camera app is being streamlined, hiding most modes by default. Apple is rearranging the Photos app after it decided to transform it into absolute mayhem with the previous iOS version. Live Translate is also coming to calls, which might be amazing, or it could lead to me unintentionally misinterpreting a $50 bill for a $500 one. 4. Camera. The iPhone 17 Pro Max uses a triple camera system like most of its predecessors. The 48 megapixels main and ultra-wide cameras are accompanied by a new and 56% bigger 48 megapixels periscope camera. This makes all cameras in the back 48 megapixels troopers. The new tetraprism periscope camera now provides a native 4x zoom with 100mm, down from 5x 120mm on the 15 Pro Max. That's actually fantastic news, allowing a bit more choice for portraiture, as 5x is simply a bit too zoomed in for many circumstances. As it now contains a 48 megapixel sensor, we get sensor cropping on the telephoto as well, enabling lossless quality 8x zoom, 200mm equivalent. That enables the iPhone 17 Pro Max join the long zooming phones out there, and we are really curious to test these new cameras against swiftly evolving Android rivals. 5. iPhone 17 Pro Max official sample photos. We also get a new 18 megapixels FaceTime camera, a much expected update over the 12 megapixels FaceTime camera that has been at the front of iPhones for years. This innovative camera employs a square sensor rather than a typical 4:3 aspect ratio sensor. This allows you to snap landscape photographs from a vertical perspective, a pretty cool party trick. 6. Battery life and charging. Now that's a welcome improvement. Apple's iPhones are on an improving trajectory when it comes to battery size and longevity. Last year's iPhone 16 Pro Max sported a big 4,685 mAh battery, and the iPhone 15 Pro Max from a year earlier contained a 4,422 mAh battery. While Apple does not announce the battery size of the iPhone 17 Pro Max, it is likely about 5,000 mAh. What matters most is that this results in huge gains in battery life numbers. Here are the official battery life estimations of Apple. We are also really excited to see support for quicker wired charging. The iPhone 15 Pro Max could only charge at roughly 25 watt rates, whereas the 17 Pro Max approaches 40 watt charging speeds with a wire. This means you can obtain up to 50% charge in just 20 minutes, a task that took 35 minutes earlier. Wireless charging speeds via MagSafe are 25 watt on the 17 Pro Max, again substantially faster than the 15 watt MagSafe on the 15 Pro Max. 7. Price and availability. When the iPhone 15 Pro Max appeared in 2023, it came with a price bump, as Apple priced $1,199 for the phone. The iPhone 14 Pro Max, introduced a year earlier, started at $1,099. One expert forecasts $50 price hikes for each iPhone model, which would put the new Pro Max at $1,249. In a touch of brighter news, a different analyst thinks that just the iPhone 17 Pro is due a price raise, which would leave the Pro Max at the $1,199 starting point. The iPhone 15 Pro Max also marked the first time Apple offered 256 gigs of storage in the base model, a trend that should continue with the iPhone 17 Pro Max. In conclusion, the iPhone 17 Pro Max might not be a game changer, but it increases a few core parts of the iPhone experience. The enhanced battery life and the considerably faster charging are the two enhancements that strike the eye the most, and while everything else appears minor, it also adds up. The new 4x zoom camera seems far more realistic, and with a much larger sensor and 8x lossless quality, it's a significant upgrade for those that care. We are particularly interested to test the new anti-reflective coating, and the more robust construction is another pleasant change. Less dramatic but nonetheless notable are the upgraded A19 Pro chipset and enhanced cooling system. These are amazing on their own, but we doubt many people play console-grade games on their iPhones to properly appreciate the advances. So, should you upgrade? The answer is definitely maybe. The iPhone 15 Pro Max still accomplishes 90% of what this new model does, so it seems like you will not miss out on too much if you just retain it for one more year. But if you just want to have that latest technology, the 17 Pro Max is clearly not just about fresh looks. So, tell us what you think about this comparison in the comments section. Then I will see you in the next one. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.